So we did a lot today. First of all, I looked at what Idris was building, his robot dog taking its first walk. Then I looked at the team working on Yard Code, that revolutionary digital addressing system for Nigeria. We have Bamidele Tolu. We also have Koyum. Then I went to Lead City University. Enjoy.
Building a widget for Yard Code so that you can see your saved Yard Codes.
So I'm battling to an APK, code to an APK 400.
I'm working on GPS module.
While getting into the venue of the symposium, I met one of our parents, mother of our graduates who is in the UK already doing great.
Permit me to stand on existing protocols, but I must pay homage to my mother because she was the admissions officer, undergraduate admissions officer, when I first started my journey at the tertiary institution, University of Ibadan. I'm talking about Mrs. Olubumi Fabi. And then I have watched her rise in her career, and I'm also happy to say that I'm equally rising in my own career because it was a tough battle getting admission at that time. And she assured that, don't worry, some people did not pass the screening exam because that was the first time UI would start that screening interview. And she said, if you can keep praying, you might enter. So my decision was that if I get this admission, I will make sure I work very hard so that when they look back, they will say, wow, it's good we admitted him finally. I hope I'm not doing bad. And when I look to my right, I am honored to be in the midst of great minds who normally I should just be sitting down to listen. But I guess they want to listen to me, then correct my flaws after this. So permit me to. But very importantly is that we are now in the information age. And because of that, there is so much to process, so much to filter, audio, video, text, and so on. To even understand, there is so much. I mean, the students would agree, right? When a lecturer teaches you and says, oh, that question, go and look for the answer online. And then there is also so much decisions to make that humans can no longer do this alone. And if humans can no longer do this alone, what do we need? The aid of generations of knowledge put together as data and processed using computer algorithms, which we now refer to as artificial intelligence. So permit me to start by laying the foundation of this discussion by telling you what artificial intelligence is. On a layman level, we would say AI is the ability to mimic the human brain with the aid of computer machines. So that means that the human's ability to make decisions, to understand reality, is what we now want to automate using computer systems. But if we go a bit scientific, we would say that artificial intelligence is the ability of a computer-based machine to collect data from its environment, number one. To process this data using heuristic algorithms. Heuristic algorithms refers to algorithms that developers will write, programmers will write, but not static. It will continuously improve as it is trained over time in order to make informed decisions without as much human interference. So you think about job applications, you apply for a job, and using data of all those that have passed through that company, how they applied, how they performed, or you apply for admission, and universities using data of all the students that they have admitted and how they performed, AI on its own will decide for the candidate whether or not to grant or not grant whatever they're asking for. Think about banks. You apply for a loan, and it doesn't matter who you know. Data about those that have been given loans and how they performed at the end or did not will all determine your fate. So it looks like we are now going to be in a world where the past will come to haunt us. But then that is what AI is about. And so today we are to talk about AI in communication and information management, the concept, the perspective, and the challenges. I know I have just 10 minutes, so maybe wherever I stop, I will just sit down. But what is communication? I'm not an expert in communication, but I can say that communication is not complete until not only is it sent out, but it is received by the authentic recipient and understood within context, without confusion and with clarity. More so with construction rather than destruction. And I'm going to emphasize on that because it has been said that in Nigeria we get angry too easily. A simple question, are you mad? That should require you to just say, oh no, I'm not. I mean, I went to UK and I asked somebody, are you mad? And he said, no, I'm not. Why do you ask? And I was like, you're supposed to get angry. I'm insulting you. But for them, they're like, no, are you sure you're okay? That's because to them, are you mad? It's just a simple question. Are you angry? Now, communication might be different across the world. How can AI help us? So we must also agree that there is miscommunication. And there are consequences of miscommunication. Look around Nigeria. There is so much battle of, should I say, attacks between herders and farmers, and largely caused by miscommunication. So also we have the information management, which is also related to this and has to do with ensuring that the right information is gotten to the right audience within the right context and with accessibility. There is so much, for example, in governance that many of the citizens do not know. And this is a big concern for us. But all of that will be solved with the adoption of technology. So what has tech come to do? Tech has come to aid communication and information management. It has come with its numerous challenges as well. But before that, let's talk about the core aspects of tech that we are here to discuss. Artificial intelligence, data science, Internet of Things, cybersecurity, and even blockchain technology. All of these techs are all about getting the right information to the right person without filtration and without adulteration rather. And if well adopted, will improve our governance, our education, our healthcare, our commerce in particular, and security. So allow me to dissect the areas of AI and where they apply to our various lives in communication, perhaps. AI, take this from me, can be split into two: predictive AI and generative AI. When people say ChatGPT, that is just generative AI. An AI that is able to generate content as if it were a human being. You ask it, oh, I have this letter, how do I respond? The same way an informed colleague would answer you is what these AI platforms would answer. That is generative AI. And they come under large language models for languages and also GAN, that's generative adversarial networks for images. So you will see some pictures that look real and are not real. That is an aspect of generative AI called GAN. And the way they do it is, it looks at several pictures that are real. And it tries to understand what are the static features and what are the dynamic features. So it will keep the static feature always in place, but it will begin to, randomize the dynamic features to see if it would at least change the look without changing the actual object. But more interestingly is the other aspect of AI, the predictive AI. This is the AI that does not behave like a human being. It behaves like Ifa. And I don't know if you know what Ifa is. Being able to predict the future based on the past. And two parts of that predictive AI stand out to me. One is recommender systems, and the other one is time series forecasting. Let me just talk about recommender systems a bit so you will understand. If you use social media every single day, you are chatting, you are browsing, you are viewing, you're automatically giving your data out. Because data is not about the things you write on paper. It's about your life, your behavioral tendencies, how you behave. So if you like watching cartoons, then me knowing that is data already. Because it means if I want to distract you from your future, I will just bombard you with free access to cartoons. If you are a footballer or maybe you love watching football, I will just give you free access to some games, football games, and you will find yourself so addicted. Now, this is recommender systems in play that tries to understand a customer's behavior and tries to give them at the right time whatever it is that we're trying to push to them. And sometimes we call it targeted ads. You are talking about something, you are chatting about something, and you start seeing those ads on your phone. That's because someone somewhere is monitoring your lifestyle. Even the things you don't know about yourself has automatically been collected. I mean, that data has automatically been collected, and an AI has understood you better. For example, I am here today. Perhaps there was an email from Lead City inviting me to Lead City, and I was thinking, will I go, will I not go? But from my other records online, Google might already know that, no, you are free at that time. I wouldn't know, but on that day, I'll be like, interestingly, I'm free, let me go. But several days ago, AI had already known, just like IFA. Then also is the aspect of time series forecasting. Time series forecasting is when you are able to predict the future, whether it is stock markets, whether it is medical records and what will happen in the next 10 years or 50 years. All of these things, we use data to predict them. And to be an expert in that, you just need to learn what we call time series forecasting. But we have a problem, and I want to round up now because of time. We have a problem in Nigeria and in Africa, and that's the fact that AI is broad. AI can be localized. How do we localize AI in our country when we don't contribute data? Why or how do we not contribute data? After all, we're all using WhatsApp, Google, OneDrive, Microsoft, and so on. So we are producing data. So why would I say we're not producing data? The owner of the data is whoever owns the platform. WhatsApp will tell you your conversations are end-to-end encrypted. So if I want to have access to your data, in order to build an AI that will suit all of us in Africa, I have to go to America to speak to WhatsApp. Same thing with Google and all of that. So that's number one. Number two, there are some other people who have so much data about our culture that are not digital. So they don't even have that data online. Now, what is happening is that we have seen a crop of experts who are now beginning to convert data that are not digitized into digital formats. And I know of one who is looking at traditional data. How do local herbalists solve medical problems? How do they solve back problems? How do they solve financial problems and so on? Of course, some of them, how do you solve security problems using incantations? If we can digitize it and we get AI to help us, I can just eventually produce something like a chatbot. And when I'm in trouble, I'll say, please, incantation, please. But that particular solution, the main concern is if they go into the remote areas in Nigeria to collect that data, where are we going to store it? Is it on Google Drive? So that Google will now build a very powerful Gemini that will know about incantations more than us. So what the Honorable Minister for Digital Economy and Innovation, Dr. Bosun Tijani is doing, is setting up working groups that will work on how we can secure localized data that will help grow AI in our country while also protecting it. Now, this is not to say we won't allow foreign companies to use it, but we will now want to have ownership, know who is using our data and give that deliberate access, so that tomorrow we can say this is our contribution to the field of AI on the global scale. Energy to process all of this data as well is a concern. And already he has initiated a project to set up a data center at Egbe power plant so that there will be enough access to energy without the inherent cost of transmission. When AI summarizes and makes a mistake, who is to blame? When AI translates your language or your conversation to another language and it is wrong, who is to blame? These are ethical concerns that are still being discussed. But all in all, we owe a responsibility as Nigerians to ensure that AI is adopted in every facet of our lives, particularly in communication, as that is the bedrock of most of our insecurity in Nigeria. Let us train students, let us train leaders, let us invest in local talents, and more importantly, let us produce and use what we produce. Thank you very much.
Please, one more time, put your list out for Okay, Dr. Ayoola, you will have 10 minutes to speak to us, but you chose to do 15 minutes, 10 seconds.
I'm sorry.
Please, let's take notes. At the end of the symposium, the person with the best time get a gift from me. So he's gone 15 minutes, 10 seconds. So please put your hands together for him. Good thing, everybody. I have to recognize the Deputy Registrar Academic Plan, Professor Adi Adewale. Thank you very much for coming. Also, would like to recognize the Deputy Registrar of Exams and